Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And also peace and safety to the Akim that spread across the four corners of the world. It's pushing out the truth with all diligence and putting their lives on the line to do so. And the brother Karas is out here at Great Millstone, Atlanta. Back at you again with another lesson. This lesson was basically inspired by, a video I seen. It was basically, it was like I guess it's like a performance show, where you got the judges and, the contestant, and one of the contestants was basically saying, he had like kind of a positive, trying to reach out to the youth and, the whole, seek God, type of, speech, at the, at the end of his, performance or whatever. And I'm going to try to see if I can find a link and drop it in the description box. But, and the judge was basically, getting down on the guy saying, as far as, with the, the point that the guy was making, the judge is basically saying, God don't look at, God, he doesn't look at it like that. And, you can, basically, rap whatever kind of music you want to rap and promote it, whether it's killing, selling drugs, you're just trying to get out of the predicament that you're in, but really, ultimately, the Lord, he's not looking at it like that. The music, the music industry, first of all, is ran by, so-called white man who pushes and promotes, violence through our people. Using, these rappers, to promote drugs, codeine, pills, adultery, and so on and so forth. He uses our people to promote that, in his kingdom, and that's where a lot of violence, happens. All right. So really, when you look at the video that I seen, the contestant was, right, in what he was saying, because he had like a positive, more of a positive aspect on, the type of music that you should be making, and, just, not promoting, the killing and murdering, that's in your music, and which, of course, we may listen to, certain, of those things, but we aren't influenced by that. Us being, the man of the Lord, it's lucky I'm, taking so long to get my point across, but it was, I got to lead up to the point, but nevertheless, our people use music to do violence, man. All right. Especially with, kids that's, in the ghettos, growing up, they're easily influenced by what, music is being put out. And that's why it's not good to always listen to that type of music, man. You really got to have a healthy balance, if none at all, But going back to the initial point of, basically, the Lord, not, judging man according to the things that he's doing, which the judge basically mentioned on the show. But this is Matthew 16:27. It says, "For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works." You see, so the Lord is gonna judge, man. When Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, when Yahushua returns, hey, the Lord is going to allow him, him and his angels, as it says here, to judge men according to the things that they've done. Whether it was a good thing or whether it wasn't a good thing, man. All right. As a matter of fact, let's look up that word reward. Can't pronounce it.
Strong's G 591. Apodidomi.
Right. So it says to deliver, to give away for one's own self-profit what is one's own. It says to sell, to pay off, to discharge what is due, a debt, wages, tribute, taxes, produce due, things promised under oath, to render account, to give back, restore. Oh, here you go. It says recompense in a good or bad sense. You see, so it can be a good or a bad thing, a reward. All right. So the Lord does, judge, a man according to the things that he's done. That's a big, stumbling block, with people in general. Like the statement that everybody likes to make, only God can judge me. Well, not only, how does God judge you? Through the eyes of his angels, through the eyes of his messengers, man. Remember the scriptures, matter of fact. Let me get that. Like it. It's 1 Peter 3:12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. You see? So the Lord, ears, is only open to the prayers of the righteous, man. All right? And people act, when you read, the book of Matthew, it tells you how, Satan tries to, basically come with gifts to Yahushua. People don't realize that you can get gifted or blessed or so-called blessed, through Satan. It says, but the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. Right? And who is he that will harm you if ye be followers of that which is good? That's why it's important to, be, a righteous man. All right? Because the Lord is literally protecting you by way of his angels, man. So the Lord is looking at, matter of fact, let me get that. What is it? Might be 2 Peter. I don't know why I can't remember it right now. Go to the Apocrypha. Yeah, that's what it was. Salaki. Sirach chapter, I'm going to close out on this, for sake of time. Sirach chapter 23 and verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding the ways of men, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. You see, so the Lord does judge, man, by way of his angels. Okay, so don't think for a second that, the things that you're doing, the things that you're promoting and, saying isn't getting judged, by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right? That's why it's important for us to try to keep a clean, slate, as the saying goes, because, the Lord's going to look at, he's going to basically flip that, list out all the things that you've done, and he's going to accumulate, whether, you're going to be saved or not, man. Saved from what? The death and destruction that's coming, to the world. All right, so, I just wanted to touch on that. Lord willing, it was edifying. I'll go ahead and close up by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And until the next time.